Marcus Rashford is closing in on a loan with an option to buy deal to Aston Villa. United have made a verbal offer to Bayern Munich to sign Mathys Tel. Garnacho looks set to stay. Geovany Quenda will be a Manchester United player in the summer. Plus, United officially announced the signing of Ayden Heaven. All this plus more in today's video as we run through all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news that will keep you right up to date with everything. Welcome to Man United Review. My name's Jamie. Before we get into it, smash a like on the video and let's jump straight into it. An absolutely frantic day. I've been kind of putting off doing this video because the news has just been coming out thick and fast. It's literally like every hour there's an update or something new. We can tell we're getting towards the end of the January transfer window, which closes at 11 p.m. on Monday, just as a reminder to everybody. And there's probably news coming out at the time of recording this video as well. It's been absolutely frantic. But let's go through all the latest. So let's start with incomings that we know are going through. So firstly, Patrick Dorgu is already at Carrington and undergoing medical. All being well, he should be available to make his debut versus Leicester in the FA Cup on Friday. That came from Samuel Luckhurst. Obviously, he was in the squad yesterday for Lecce's game. Didn't come off the bench, though, just sat on the bench. Then there was photo saying goodbye, and there was loads of kind of photos. Even Lecce's manager kind of come out confirming the move to United. He's flown to Manchester today, and by all accounts, currently at the time of recording this video, undergoing his medical, and then all going to plan, should be available to join up with the first team squad and potentially, could see a debut on Friday for the FA Cup game against Leicester. Massively exciting to kind of see finally bringing in a left back. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. And then United have also announced an official signing today. So Ayden Heaven completed his medical as new Manchester United player, leaving Arsenal with immediate effect. That came from Fabrizio Romano. Manchester United announced the signing of Ayden Heaven on a deal valid until June 2029 with an option for another year. That came from the Man United official website, and we'll run through the quotes and comments in a second. And Laurie Whitwell, interestingly, said that Manchester United paid a fee in the region of £1.5 million to sign Ayden Heaven. And that's what you like to see. Buying these kind of young players. It's another young, promising developmental player. Got a very good, very highly regarded as a young up and coming defender with attributes for the modern kind of football. Very exciting. £1.5 million from Arsenal. That's an absolute bargain. Even if it doesn't work out, with PSR rules and stuff, you're probably going to be able to sell him in the future for more than that and flip him for a profit. So either way, it's a really good deal. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully it develops and he's one of these where in a few years' time we're kind of gloating about that we only paid £1.5 million for Heaven from Arsenal. That would be nice. Now, for those interested, he's been given the number 26 shirt, and Jason Wilcox had the following to say: "We are delighted that Ayden is joining Manchester United. He is huge. He's a hugely talented defender who is ready to join our first team squad to maximise his potential." Interesting, ready to join the first team squad there. So remember the reports I brought you the other day, suggesting that actually he is one that's seen as a first team player, as potential backup to Lisandro Martinez. Not a bad player to kind of learn off of, I don't think, as well. So hopefully he can kind of develop, so he does provide us some cover on the left-sided centre-back position, which is a little bit weak because we're having to kind of put Yoro Mazraoui's played there a couple of times as well, not naturally left-footed, but Heaven is. And then Wilcox also said the club has a phenomenal reputation for developing young players, and we believe Ayden is in the perfect place to fulfill his excellent potential. Player himself had the following to say: "I am incredibly proud to be joining Manchester United. I am grateful to everyone who has helped make this dream a reality. There is so much I want to achieve. I will give my all to continue my development and become the best player I can be as well." So that one done deal then today, confirmed. Ayden Heaven, Dorgu doing his medical at the time of recording this video. I don't know when we're going to get the announcement on that one as well. So massively excited. Two very good young up and coming developmental players as well. Obviously Dorgu, we need to see what he's all about in the first team, whether he'll make the bench or what for Friday. That's exciting. And obviously a very young, talented centre half as well to kind of come in, who is seen as a very, very good up and coming player as well. Massively exciting. Let me know what you think in the comments, and smash a like on the video for those two players potentially coming in. Right, now let's move on to some other news, but absolutely frantic the last kind of 24 hours. And as I mentioned earlier, literally there's like a news story or quotes or comments coming out from credible people literally hourly at the moment. You can tell it's getting towards that kind of time at the end of the transfer window. So let's go through the Marcus Rashford situation. So Barcelona have decided that the arrival of Marcus Rashford this transfer window is practically impossible. They are close to pulling out of the race. Aston Villa have now emerged as one of the most interested clubs. Now that came from Matteo yesterday. Now I want to kind of bring that in because Matteo's been very, very good this transfer window, actually breaking stories before Romano and David Ornstein. So he's someone that I'm paying attention to at the moment. Romano also confirmed it as well, saying that Marcus Rashford to Barcelona is almost off due to financial fair play restrictions. Obviously, Barcelona were trying to sell some players, and that hasn't materialised. So, by all accounts, Rashford was waiting for Barcelona, and they've kind of pretty much said, "Yeah, we're not going to be able to get the money in time in order to get that kind of deal done," which has then put Rashford in a bit of a situation because he's been holding out this entire time for Barcelona, and Ruben Amorim has made it very clear that he doesn't, that unless he pulls his finger out, he's not going to be in the first team squad because he's not doing whatever it is that Amorim's asking him to do. I refuse to believe that it's training performances because Amorim said it's the training, it's lifestyle and things like that as well. I think it will all eventually come out in the wash what's kind of happened or what's been going on behind the scenes with Marcus Rashford. But then Aston Villa are considering a move for Marcus Rashford that came from Laurie Whitwell and Crafton, all in the Athletic, very good sources. David Ornstein, you don't get more credible than him, said that Aston Villa considering move to sign Marcus Rashford on loan from Man United. Rashford's preference and Barcelona or stay at United, so would need convincing, but Aston Villa in talks on personal request of Unai Emery. So that's interesting from Ornstein, suggesting that Rashford preferred to go to Barcelona or stay at United, although I think if he wanted to stay at United, he would have pulled his socks up and started doing whatever it is that's kind of Amorim's asking of him that's exiling him from the matchday squad, but that's by the by. But Aston Villa making a move for him. Then Fabrizio Romano has said that Aston Villa have called Manchester United over the conditions of a loan deal this month. Matteo again said Villa will continue to push for Marcus Rashford today. Unai Emery really likes his profile. Aston Villa and Manchester United will negotiate for a loan. And then Romano also said that Unai Emery has given the green light to the Aston Villa board to try and advance on the Marcus Rashford loan deal. Negotiations are ongoing. Samuel Luckhurst has said that Marcus Rashford is closing in on a loan move to Aston Villa. A deal is progressing ahead of the transfer deadline, and there is optimism a move will get concluded. So, very good sources kind of coming out. And there's no smoke without fire, suggesting Aston Villa potentially a viable candidate now for Marcus Rashford on loan for the end of the season. Obviously, they've just sold John Duran for an absolute fortune to the Saudi Pro League, so they do have some cash available and would be able to afford that kind of deal. But then David Ornstein, literally, and this is what I mean, I've already recorded a video, and I'm doing it again because Ornstein just came out with this news, saying that Aston Villa close to agreeing deal to sign Marcus Rashford on loan from Man United. Still work to do, but now expected forward will join Aston Villa, likely to include an option, significant salary coverage, plus bonuses. So that looks, obviously, you don't get more credible than David Ornstein, effectively confirming that it looks like at the time of recording this video, Aston Villa are going to be making a loan offer for Rashford with an option to buy in the summer. Significant chunk of his wages are going to be paid as well. Obviously, we'll need to wait for the official kind of announcement, and the confirmation is still just kind of rumours at this stage, although you don't get more credible than David Ornstein. Normally when he comes out to say something, it happens because he's, in my opinion, the most credible source of information definitely in the UK anyway, when it comes to transfer news. I don't think you get more reliable than that, effectively saying. So that looks like, the writing's on the wall. What do you think about that, actually? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about Rashford going to Aston Villa? I think it'll be really interesting to see. Because someone mentioned this in the comments the other day, actually, and I agree that it's sad to see the ending of Marcus Rashford the way that it is, because obviously he's a homegrown player, come through the youth team, been at the club since he was like 8 or 9 years old, and that kind of journey, It's really kind of difficult and sad to see the way that it's ended for Marcus Rashford. I do also believe, though, as well, that a lot of it has been on him. I think he's been given opportunities, and it'll be really interesting to see how he kind of performs at Aston Villa, because obviously one of the criticisms that in my opinion, and I know some of you share this from comments in previous videos as well over on the channel, was attitude and work rate on the pitch. Like, he doesn't look like he's bothered on the pitch a lot of the time, especially last season. This season, a little bit different. So it'll be interesting to see if that attitude kind of switches when he goes to Aston Villa and see whether because they'll get a good player if they can get Marcus Rashford firing again. But it'll just be interesting to see kind of what sort of Rashford they're going to get at Villa as well. But that does look likely. I'd love your thoughts on the whole situation, though, in the comments. And I just hope finally we can get a conclusion to the deal, because I can't see a way back for him if he stays at United. Amram's made it perfectly clear there's something happened or something going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of, in my opinion. And again, I'm sure it'll come out in the wash eventually. But, but yeah, it could be a good move for him. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, if that goes through, then obviously United are going to be looking for a replacement, and the player that's heavily linked with United is Mathys Tel. So, obviously, the reports yesterday were that Tottenham had a €60 million bid accepted for Tel, but Tanzolik was saying that he'd rejected to join Tottenham. So, Mathys Tel has rejected Tottenham. Talks continue with other Premier League clubs. Fabrizio Romano confirmed it as well, saying Mathys Tel current decision is to reject Tottenham's proposal despite willingness to sign him for €60 million package. And face-to-face talk, Tel has informed Spurs about his decision. So apparently Daniel Levy flew to Bayern Munich yesterday, and after a couple of hours he was kind of told, yeah, no, I don't want to go to Tottenham. So Tel and his agent are in Munich together to assess all options after rejecting Tottenham's proposal. Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal and Aston Villa are all in contact. Obviously, if Villa go for Rashford, though, which is looking likely, then I can't see them then making a move for Tel. By all accounts, he doesn't want to go to Chelsea because he wants a pathway to the first team, which would just leave us and Arsenal. And at the moment, there's not that much noise around Arsenal making a move. Whether they will or not, they could do, because they've obviously had a bid rejected by Villa for Ollie Watkins, so they've clearly got some money available. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. Fabrice Hawkins, who's a good source, said Manchester United and Aston Villa are still in the race to sign Mathys Tel. Arsenal and Chelsea are still on the lookout. Florian Plettenberg, though, has said that Mathys Tel would be more open to a loan deal. Manchester United, Villa and Chelsea are in the race for him. But again, apparently by all accounts doesn't want to go to Chelsea, and obviously Villa are potentially getting Rashford. And then Christopher Michael, who's a very good source, said that Manchester United are now working hard to sign Mathys Tel. The player is very interested in joining United. A loan with an option to buy is United's preference. David Ornstein, though, did say that Tel indicated to Tottenham that he intends to stay at Bayern Munich and reassess his future in the summer. But obviously there's other people suggesting that actually he prefers a loan move to United, and he wants to come to United by all accounts. And then Christian Folk, who's a good source specifically for Bayern Munich, said that the move to Manchester United appeals to Tel. There is still no agreement with Bayern Munich. United do not offer as much transfer fee as Tottenham did, which was £50 million. Sky Sports are saying that Manchester United have made a verbal offer to Bayern Munich for Tel, which has also been confirmed by Florian Plettenberg. Now, Florian Plettenberg, again, very credible when it comes to German and Bayern Munich news, saying that Manchester United have made a verbal offer to Bayern Munich for Mathys Tel, which is currently under review. And that was also and Romano was also saying that Man United remain keen on loan deal with option to buy for Mathys Tel. So that was a lot to kind of go through. Lots, like I said, it's absolutely frantic at the moment, the kind of transfer stories. So in kind of summary, Tottenham had a bid accepted by Bayern Munich for Tel. Daniel Levy flew to Germany to try and kind of negotiate with the player. The player rejected them. He does not want to go to Tottenham. By all accounts, he doesn't want to go to Chelsea. Aston Villa were linked, but if they're going for Rashford, I don't think they'll need Tel. Arsenal is still being linked, but by all accounts, he wants to come to Man United, and he's happy to come to United with a loan with an option to buy. So it looks like at the moment, if you read in between the lines, it could be Marcus Rashford on loan to Aston Villa with an option to buy, and then we go for Tel from Bayern Munich with an option to buy as well. We'll obviously have to pay some of Rashford's wages, but by Ornstein was saying they're going to cover a significant portion of his wages, and we don't know the full details of what the option to buy would look like, what the fee and the price would be. But I would imagine if they're going to pay a big chunk of his wages, it's not going to be a particularly high fee. That's how they'll subsidise the fact that he's on like 300 odd grand a week, because that's going to be outside of Aston Villa's wage budget. So it will probably be like a lower fee if they cover some of the cost of his wages, that then frees up massive wiggle room for us for PSR, which would then give us the option to go for Tel because he wants to play football. And it's seen that he could play in a number of positions across the front line as well. I've seen some reports saying that obviously he can play right, left, or up front as well. And with United, he sees that as a kind of pathway. Plus, he might have a relationship with De Ligt and Mazraoui from his time at Bayern Munich as well. So they might be in his ear, hopefully, kind of convincing him to come to United. So that's all looking plausible at the moment. No smoke without fire. Very credible sources. Christopher Michael, Florian Plettenberg, David Ornstein, Romano, like all the big hitters are getting involved in these kind of deals. These aren't like bullshit rumory outlets that are kind of confirming it. These are all the kind of main ones that you want involved in transfer talk and transfer news. Are very good at their jobs and what they do, all suggesting, all roads are pointing to that potentially going through over the next few days. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. I'd love your thoughts. Do you think it's a good deal for United if we loan Rashford, option to buy to Aston Villa, and then get Tel in on loan with an option to buy in the summer as well? I mean, it's you know, yeah, I can't see why we wouldn't. I can't see why we wouldn't do those deals. Obviously, we know there's something going on with Rashford, so he needs to go and play football and rediscover himself or do something, right? Because I can't see how he gets back into the first team squad under Amorim. So that's something that he needs to kind of do for himself. But then also getting Tel in, very young, developmental, up and coming player, gives us an opportunity to see what he's like, but non-committal for in the summer. And then if it is one, then yeah, it would have an option to buy him in the summer as well. So I actually think, I think good deals personally, but let me know what you think in the comments. Let's move on to some other news. So yesterday the kind of reports were about Garnacho regarding Napoli and Chelsea making late bids, but Tottenham also apparently made an inquiry about Garnacho yesterday after missing out on Tel that came from Simon Jones in the Mail Sport. Apparently that's, well, as you can imagine, probably got rejected straight away by Garnacho and his cap. There's still no new developments on Chelsea and Napoli. So that stands at the moment, Fabrizio Romano was saying that Amorim has had conversations with the board and confirmed he will be open to keeping Garnacho. The manager's view of the player is currently different now. There's a chance that he stays. And he did kind of praise him in his pre-match press conference as well about his attitude and his work rate and the fact that he's kind of done what he's asked him to do effectively, unlike Marcus Rashford, who's clearly not doing what the manager's asking him to do behind the scenes. And that is why Garnacho's now back in the fold, back in the first team, do you know what I mean, playing games and actually doing quite well. And I think he is kind of developing that inside 10 position. Be interesting to see how he gets on with Dorgu as a kind of outside left back as well. That could potentially help Garnacho and the team a little bit more as well. But by all accounts, it's looking likely that he will stay. Obviously, it's the transfer window. It is still open. Anything could still happen. But I'm, it looks like he might be staying, which is good in my opinion. But let me know what you think in the comments. And then there was a story yesterday regarding Geovany Quenda from Portuguese outlet first, but then David Ornstein dropped the bomber as well, suggesting that there is kind of truth in this story. So Ajogo, another Portuguese outlet who are fairly decent, said that Geovany Quenda will be Manchester United player in the summer. He wants to join Ruben Amorim on his journey in Manchester. Clubs have excellent relationship and there is verbal agreement for around 40 million euros plus add-ons. Personal terms are not a problem. So another outlet suggesting that Geovany Quenda is potentially going to be coming to United in the summer, and the Muppeteers were also saying that he thinks that deal's further along than they're being reported as well, and this is looking very, very likely that it's already, I don't know if it's, obviously it might be in negotiation, whether we've even already negotiated that with Sporting behind the scenes, who knows, but no smoke without fire, and you don't get more credible than yesterday's report with David Ornstein suggesting that this is something that they're kind of looking to do, and plus two very decent Portuguese outlets yesterday and today pretty much confirming that this is one as well. And what a team that's going to be potentially going through. I think it will come in as the right kind of wing back position as well, very attacking, plays like a winger, young, developmental, obviously has that relationship with Amorim, giving him his debut and stuff as well. Very, very highly regarded young player, so that's really, really exciting. Obviously, it is a summer deal though, but he's only 17. We can't sign him until he's 18 anyway. Even if we had the money available now, we still couldn't go for him because of his age. But let me know what you think. Love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments. And then another player potentially leaving would be Malacia. So negotiations are now underway and advancing between Benfica and Manchester United for Tyrell Malacia. The player has agreed to join Benfica on loan. The clubs are in advanced talks to seal the details of the agreement. And it came from Fabrizio Romano. And there were stories about that yesterday regarding Malacia going out on loan, specifically to Benfica. And yeah, so that looks like that one could potentially go through. So look, in summary, you know, Dorgu's having his medical as at the time of recording this video. Don't know when we're going to get an announcement on that. Ayden Heaven signed, official, all done and dusted. £1.5 million apparently, got the 26 shirt. Rashford now looking likely he's going to go on loan with an option to buy to Aston Villa. They're going to pay a lot of his wages by all accounts as well. That frees up squad space and wiggle room for us for PSR, where apparently we might then be going for Mathys Tel to bring him on loan with an option to buy. He's on obviously a lot less wages than Marcus Rashford, so that's plausible and that's possible. Then we've got potentially Quenda coming in the summer. Garnacho looking likely to stay. Malacia out on loan. And then who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of days before the window shuts on Monday. But I'll bring you any updates when they come out. I would love your thoughts on what's going on in the comments. So get involved below. Let me know what you think about all of today's news. Don't forget to smash a like on the video on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll see you in the next one.